Yo, what's good, my wolf pack? Elf of the pack right here. And, bruh, I'm not even gonna lie. I low key recorded like 3 videos today. And low key, counting this one, I got one more video to record, bruh. I'm about to flood my YouTube channel with videos. So, for those of you for those of you who actually enjoy seeing my face, hearing my voice, and hearing what I gotta talk about, y'all gonna have like 5 videos to watch, Brian. Don't say I take too long to upload a video, cause nigga, I'm recording like 5 videos in one day. All right. So once again, what's good, my wolf pack? Elf of the pack right here, and today I'm gonna be telling you guys another story. All right, the story of the time in which I was at the culinary arts department and I sliced 2 of my fingers open with a bread knife, and how that resulted in me having to get stitches. I'm telling y'all a story about how I had to get stitches, bro. So listen to me, cause bro, when I say I got a long list of videos I gotta do, I'm not lying. So legit, I'm all trying to knock them all out in one day. All right. So, and I gotta hurry up and do this before it gets dark outside. All right. So 100% telling y'all the story about how I cut cut my hand, had to get stitches, right? So it was like, I want to say it was like 10, 11 in the morning, maybe. You know, because go to school around 6:30. Class starts 7:40. Don't get to go home until like 2. So I want to say it was like 10, 11 in the morning, right? I took some bread from out of the freezer. I let it sit out for a couple of minutes. It started to get soft. Took out my bread knife. Now the bread knife is this long curved blade with like 20 jagged edges going down it, right? So this is how stupid I am, right? The frozen bread, it it didn't defrost all the way. It didn't defrost all the way. It was still halfway frozen, right? But I got a little bit impatient. And when you work in a kitchen, when you work in anything regarding food, you're constantly getting rushed. And it's the most annoying thing in the world. Like, I'm not even gonna hold y'all, bro. I love to cook, but nigga, I hate working in the culinary arts department. I'm not even gonna lie. The only reason I'm still doing it is to get my degree. That's the only reason I'm still going for it. Otherwise, I would have quit a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? Because I swear to God, it's the most stressful thing I've ever experienced in my life, bro. Besides trying to be on a high school wrestling team, but I'm not gonna get into that. Listen, so the bread wasn't completely softened. It was still halfway frozen, right? So this is how stupid I am. I took the knife and I placed it on the end of the bread, and I placed the knife on the end of the bread, and I held down the top of it with my left hand, right? So I was holding the bread down, and I began to just like cut through the bread. I was slicing it in half. So I hit when I got to the middle of the bread, it was like a rock hard. It was too hard for me to continue to glide the knife through. So I pushed down on the bread harder, and I began to I pushed down on the bread harder, and I legitimately tried to force the knife through the ice, through the frozen center of the bread. I legit tried to force it through. So I'm standing there holding the bread down and legit pushing the knife through the ice, hella hard, as hard as I can. I'm legit hella hard. I'm legitimately pushing the knife through the bread as hard as I can, right? All of a sudden, the knife comes up through the top of the bread into my fingers. 2 of my fingers, right? See, this is why I usually don't like recording in public, because niggas be staring at me like I'm retarded. I swear to God, people, when you make videos and walking around in public, niggas look at you like you stupid. I swear to God, man. So look, anyway, like I was saying, right? The knife goes through the top, goes through the bread. The knife slides through, go up through the top into my fingers, right? Two of my fingers, like my ring finger and my middle finger, goes into those fingers, right? So I'm not gonna lie, I cut my hands plenty of times before working in the culinary arts department, right? When you're working with food, you're gonna cut or burn your hand. You're gonna hurt yourself. It's gonna happen. There's no way around it, right? So I'm not, but here's the thing. When you cut your hand, it's not like you ever get used to the pain. So when a blade, and mind you, I only ever cut my hand with a regular knife. I never cut my hand with a bread knife before, right? Bruh, cutting your hand with a bread knife hurts so much worse. It hurts so much more than cutting your hand with a regular knife, bro. So when those jagged pieces went into my fingers, I was like, ah, fuck. I legit had to stop myself. I'm not gonna lie, bro. I legit almost screamed the F word. I was like, oh, fuck. I legit almost screamed out loud, but then I stopped. And dude, there was just like blood pouring out of my fingers, yo. So I gave myself a few deep cuts before, but usually the bleeding was stopped after a little bit. So I figured this injury would be the same thing, right? So I go over to there's this section of the kitchen where they keep band-aids and gauze and gloves and all that, you know what I'm saying? So what you do is when you cut yourself, you run your fingers under some water, wrap it up in a paper towel to try to stop the bleeding, put a band-aid on, and then put like blue finger gloves on showing that you got cut. And then you put another glove over your injured hand. You're supposed to wear gloves when you're cooking food in general, but when you cut your fingers, you gotta put 2 finger gloves on. You gotta clean it, put a band-aid on, put 2 finger gloves on, and then a clean glove on. You know what I'm saying? So once you take care, basically when you take care of your injury, you get back to work. All right. So that's what I did. Ran water on my hand, wrapped my fingers up in paper towel, try to stop the bleeding as best as I could. Put the band-aids on, put some finger gloves on, then try to go back to work. Bruh, apparently I didn't realize when I was trying to stop the bleeding in my fingers, I legitimately, a trail of blood, there were drops of blood all over the kitchen floor. I didn't realize it until one of my coworkers, well, I guess she was higher up in the kitchen. I don't know why I called her a coworker. She was like one of the head chefs. This is a school, not a job. I don't know why I said coworker. She was like one of the head chefs, right? Emily. So apparently, I didn't realize it, but apparently from my cut, I had dripped blood. I dripped blood all over the kitchen floor, right? So when I came back and tried to get back to work, Emily came up to me. She found me and said, "Kendrick, did you cut your hand?" And I said, "Yeah, why?" She said, you must have dripped blood all around the area in which you tried to take care of your wound, because I saw little droplets of blood all over the floor by the sink and all that. And I was like, "Oh, really?" And then she was like, "Oh yeah, what happened?" And then I was like, I did something stupid. I was trying to cut frozen bread, and then the knife went into my hand. I was saying, "Oh, yo, I did something stupid. I was trying to cut frozen bread, and a knife went into my hand." And then, low key, she stopped. She legit grabbed my hand, legit completely made me stop talking. When she grabbed my hand, I was like, when I was explaining the situation, she legitimately grabbed my hand. I was all like, it took me by surprise. She's all like, I need you. I'm gonna call like the EMT, the doctors. I need you to go to them and have them look at your hand. I was like, nah, what? She was all like, Kendrick, go have them look at you. And I was like, all right, fine, cool. So I left the kitchen and I went into the bathroom, and I took the glove off, and then I took the finger gloves off. Bro, tell me why. Usually, it doesn't take long for any small injury I get. It usually don't take long for the cut to stop bleeding, right? So tell me why. When I took the gloves off, there's like just blood leaking through the band-aids, and there was blood all inside the gloves. My fingers are still like pouring out blood, right? So at this point, I'm still freaking out a little bit, yo. So I start running my hand underwater trying to get the bleeding to stop, and I'm wrapping it up in paper towels. Tell me why when I'm in the middle of doing this, this dude comes into the bathroom and he just starts staring at me. He's staring at me, trying to stop my hand from bleeding. And I look at him, I'm like, nigga, what you looking at? What? Go away. And so I get a little bit irritated, like he's just watching me do this. So I just wrap my hand up in some paper towels, dip out, go to another bathroom, try to handle the situation. And at that point, I just got my fingers just wrapped up in paper towels, and I head back into the kitchen. And I was going to talk to my teacher about me cutting my hand and having to go home. And it turns out they had already called, some doctors or whatever into the kitchen. And when they found me, they had looked at my fingers and they told me I had to go to the hospital and that I might have to get stitches. Now, in my mind, I was all like, bro, it's not even that serious. I cut my hands pretty badly before and it was fine. It's not that serious. I don't need stitches. I don't need to go to the hospital. And they were all like, you have to go to the hospital. So I was all like, here we go. Because they was already making a big deal about it, talking about sending me home and all this. So I was like, yo, I'm just going to leave. So I figured out, oh, okay, I'm just going to go home. It's going to be that. And they were all like, you need to go to the hospital. So I'm like, all right, fine, whatever. So I get my stuff. I get in the car, drive to the hospital, wait in the waiting room. Now, I have to mention at this point, I had already re-wrapped my injured fingers with band-aids and put another set of gloves on, right? So I'm in the waiting room for like 15, 20 minutes. And tell me why, when I get called to the back and I start taking off the gloves and the band-aids to show the doctor my injured fingers, blood legitimately flew out of the gloves. Because with how I had my hand wrapped up, not only was I bleeding a lot, my hands were getting pretty sweaty, right? So tell me why when I took the gloves off and the band-aids so the doctor could get a good look at it, blood legitimately flew out of the glove, flinged into the trash, flinged out over the floor and everything. Legit flinged out, bro. Flew in the air. I'm not even exaggerating. That's how much blood that was, like, I guess, soaked up into the gloves and the band-aid and all that, right? So I guess it is a good thing that I did go to the doctor, because I could have possibly bled out in the kitchen. Here's the thing about me, bro. When I hurt myself, I try to ignore the damage. When I get injured in any way, I try to ignore it and be like, oh, I'm fine, I'm not gonna worry about it, it's not that big of a deal. My wife hates that. But I'm like, it's not that big deal, it's just a cut, it's gonna stop bleeding eventually. But in this situation, I guess it was good that I went to the doctor, because I probably would have bled to death or something. Because all of this took place in like an hour. So, and my fingers didn't stop bleeding yet. So I'm like, yeah, it's probably a good thing that I did end up going to the doctors, right? So, yeah, when the doctor saw the amount of blood that was coming out of my hand, he had me go to the emergency room. And as it turned out, I did in fact need to get stitches. Went to the emergency room. Dude cleaned my hand. Dude, tell me why. When he looked at my hand, he legit squeezed my fingers because apparently the cut, it was already starting to close up, right? The wound on my fingers were already starting to close up, right? Tell me why. When he looked at my hand, he squeezed my fingers to open them back up. Legitimately, he squeezed my fingers hella hard, and I was like, yeah. And I was like, yo, what? And he low key, he did a little laugh. He was like, I'm sorry about that. I was like, bro, why did you do that, yo? Bro, it hurt so bad, yo. So, yeah.
Are you done walking?
Not why? Not yet.
Oh, well, we're just gonna go to the store, but don't let Keisha out. The door's unlocked, but don't let her out.
Okay.
Put her in her kennel.
All right.
You can wait till I get back.
Okay. So, low key, the doctor, he squeezed my fingers, right? And it hurt bad, hella bad, right? And he did a little laugh about it, like it was funny when it wasn't. I legitimately almost punched the dude, right? Because here's the thing. Here's the thing. If you straight up scare me or hurt me, even if it's accidental, my default response is to throw a punch. So if I get scared or hurt quickly, like fast and quickly enough, my default response is throw a punch, right? So when he squeezed my fingers, I legitimately almost threw a punch at him. Like I'm not trying to act like I was trying to be a thug or nothing, but if I get hit or whatever or scared slightly, my body like reacts on its own and it tries to throw us a punch, right? So when he did that, he left the room for a few minutes, came back, and I low-key had to get I got 4 stitches in my ring finger and 3 in this finger right here. You know what I'm saying? My middle finger. So yeah, I think I had to keep the stitches in for I think it was a whole week that I kept the stitches in until the wound healed properly. And then I went back and got the stitches taken out, you know. And it's funny too, because when I was in the bathroom trying to stop the bleeding, I used so many of the paper towels that was in the dispenser, wrapping my hand in it and squeezing, clenching my fists, squeezing down, trying to stop the bleeding, right? I used so many paper towels and threw them in the trash. Bruh, if you saw the amount of blood that was on those paper towels and how much paper towels were in the trash, you would have thought somebody was bleeding out in the bathroom. I'm not even exaggerating. It was a lot of bloody paper towels in the trash. I wonder what the people who were in there thought when they saw all that. But yeah, man, that's basically end of the story. I got stitches, had to keep them in for a week, and that was that, man. My hand's all good now. It's funny too because I'm pretty sure I posted the pictures on my Facebook. I don't think I posted them on my Instagram. I might legitimately go on Facebook, find those pictures, put them on Instagram, and then link my Instagram in the description box below so you guys can see. I might legitimately do that. I don't know, maybe, we'll see. But yeah, man, that's the end of the story. How I got my hand and had to get stitches. But I don't know why I shared this. I, I don't know. I'm bored, nigga. When I'm bored to talk about random stuff. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all in whatever video I do next. Peace out, my wolf pack. Your alpha has spoken. Also, I apologize for all the random pauses I took in this video. It's because people kept walking past me, bruh, and they was staring at me. This is why I hate making videos in public, but I wanted to do something different, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, peace. It's getting dark. See, I'm glad I ended it soon.